Hey guys, welcome to another episode of YP Crypto. I'm your host Chris. I'm with my co-host Ant. How you doing, Ant? You good?
All good, man. All good.
Good. So today we are joined by our good friend of the show, David Kuehl. He is a software developer slash blockchain developer, and we're just going to talk about NFTs today. It's one of the hot topics in crypto that's out there. Probably one of the best investments you can get right now. And David's going to just shed his expertise in the space and just kind of we're going to ask a few questions and just to understand it a bit more. David, you good?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Nice to have you back on the show, bro.
Thanks,
Yeah. It's been some crazy changes since the last time.
Yeah, for real. So we'll get straight into it. So the first question is like 1 minute, 2 minutes. Just explain NFT in simple term for us slow people out here.
All right, cool. So I think the best way to think about NFTs is almost like, when you were little, when all of us were young and we used to like play with Pokemon cards and whatnot. The thing with Pokemon cards, like, okay, it was quite hot back in the days. You wanted to get them, you wanted to collect as many as possible. So just remember that feeling. Remember that feeling that you wanted to collect them. Just hold on to that feeling. So NFTs are basically a similar thing in the sense that those Pokemon cards, the only downside about them is that, you knew like you could always get some in a pack, but you didn't really know exactly how many there are like in existence, right? You would just keep buying like a pack and hoping to get like the best one or better cards.
Gold Charizard, trying to get that gold Charizard.
Trying to get it. Exactly. But so NFTs are similar. Well, the mechanics of it and the way people are using them right now is similar to like Pokemon cards. But the difference is, it would be like knowing how many Pokemon cards are in existence. So if you knew at the time, like if the company who made them or whoever made them said there are only 10,000 Pokemon cards that we're going to release into the wild, that's it. There might actually be a race to try and get these, right? If you think about it, if people knew there was only 10,000, suddenly it will be like, oh, wow, I really need to get these. I need to get as many as possible because if there are only 10,000 available, there's going to be like a rush, So NFTs, the way people are using NFTs right now is a similar thing. So what they are is that they allow you to basically create like a signature or like an ID linking something on the blockchain.
Okay.
So it's like having one of those Pokemon cards, but there's a unique ID for that, which proves that it is the only one in existence. In this case, it's the only one that exists. Like there's only one copy of it, and that's it on the chain. So that's a benefit. We couldn't really do that before with like images on the internet. Like you can make like any number of images, any number of copies of images on the internet. But the blockchain allows you to basically like give an ID to one and almost kind of create this like this fixed supply of that image. And you can then assume that it's the only one around and that's it. So that's basically the concept behind NFTs, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, makes sense.
Does that compare to like, for instance, like a Monet painting? Is it similar to that, as in there's a limited amount out there? Is it similar to that?
Yeah, in theory, yeah, it's supposed to be like that. Yeah,
it's more verification, right? It's more like proving that that's how many that is, like a serial. It's basically all the information of that particular product or whatever it may be. Says this is how much this is in the world. It shows basically will show the value of it through that information.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's almost like an agreement. If somebody's gonna buy, if like I'm gonna get an NFT, rather than you telling me and trying to prove to me that that's the only one in existence, I can check the blockchain and see that it's the only one in existence, and I know. So it's an agreement between us for us to conduct a transaction without us using like words to try and convince each other. Like the chain proves that this is the only copy, and I'm happy with that, and I'm happy to own that because I know it's the only one.
Cool.
Yeah, and that's hopefully I've explained it in like a simple enough terms, but I think that's like kind of the best way to maybe see it. But then again, like the scope for what the way people are using that, you know, it's very wild at the moment. You know, it's a crazy time at the moment, you know. Yeah, but yeah, we can unpack all
And
that.
you got a question to ask David about
I've got
NFTs?
like 5 questions. I'll go last. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting stuck into it, man. I'm like,
cool. So yeah, so basically NFTs kind of, I don't know, it's like kind of collectibles and stuff like that. And then the blockchain proves that's how much NFT of that particular product is around, right? So the second question I have is, what are the utilities besides, say, buying and holding an NFT and hoping the value goes up? Like, what other utility use cases does it have to just be part of an NFT, either product or whatever, project?
Okay, it's a good question. So I think it's still early days, but people are still figuring out all the possible ways to use them, and that's like an exciting time to be in. So from what I've seen,
sorry, Dave, keep talking. I'm just going to show a few
no
like websites about different like NFT projects and stuff like that. So yeah, keep talking, bro. Yeah, different utilities and stuff like that.
Yeah, so that this ability to basically treat like to create like a fixed supply of something. Basically, an NFT stands for a non-fungible token, right? Yeah. So what that means is, like, a normal token on like a chain like Ethereum is fungible, and that means that it's basically divisible. So you can have one, and it can be divisible into units. Yeah, a non-fungible is not divisible. So there's only one supply of it, and that's it, right? So because of that, there's a lot of ways you can use this thing. Just to give you an example, so right now, the common thing that's happening with them is artists will like create, or the term they use is mint. Yeah, so like you know that analogy I gave with the Pokemon cards. So artists are almost kind of like creating their own Pokemon cards or their own packs of artworks, and each of these images are unique, right? They're unique. They're even randomly generated, so they're even more unique in that sense. And you can then acquire one of these things, right? And this is basically like similar to like, you know, a traditional art painting that you have. That's the kind of like use case in that regard. So, you know, if there's a creator that you like, or you like their work, you know, you can purchase one of their works, and that's a unique work specifically done by them, and you own that, right? So that behavior, you know, finding a painting and owning a painting, that's that use case for NFT. That's one. There are some more interesting use cases being like developed around it. So another one I've heard is like in the entertainment or in sports. So I don't know, there's a basketball player called LaMelo Ball, and he worked with like an agency, and they made like these NFTs, and each one basically represented like a milestone that he might achieve in his first year of the NBA. So one of it was like the Rookie of the Year NFT. At the time, he wasn't Rookie of the Year. So the idea is that if you purchased that and you held it, and he did reach that milestone, suddenly that NFT as a collectible, its value increased so much. And what happened? He did get Rookie of the Year. So that NFT is now worth a lot of money. So you own that. It's almost like it's taken like a snapshot of that experience in history, and you now own that, right? That's another use case. Me personally now, and you know what I'm doing now around the space, I see the biggest use cases for NFTs is around gaming, because with games, you know, traditionally without NFTs, games kind of created these like collectible items that you could go and collect. You know, in levels, you go and you find power-ups and all those things. It was fun, you know, you went and collected them. Now, the only difference was that these things were just, you know, they were almost kind of like fictional. There was no real way to give them value. You know, you just collected it. The only worth was in that game that you played, right? But with NFTs, what people can do, what developers can do, is that they can actually create those collectibles as NFTs, and then you can now put those things onto secondary market. You can take them outside of that game. Yeah, so whatever you collected and earned in a game, you can now take it out, you can put it and sell it into like a secondary market to somebody else that might want that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. So like if I play a game and I get that game, I collect the tokens in terms of like if I kill someone, if it's a shoot 'em up game, I collect points in that native token. I can put that in my wallet, go send it on Binance, and then make some cash flow, and just playing that game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you could do that. Another thing as well is that it's not just taken outside of the game, but it allows that game to create its own economy and its own market. Like if there are other players in that game who value those collectibles, they can buy them off you, which is exactly what's happening with like, at games like Axie Infinity. In that game, there are people like making a living, breeding these, like creating these monsters, selling them onto others. And people actually, they're treating it as their full-time job. They're doing that and they're making crazy money just playing this game. Yeah.
And I think we need to try jump on one of these games and just try and see if we can make an income from it, man.
I'm just thinking, does Call of Duty have NFTs?
Oh, can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine that? But David, man, thank you for that. I mean, we're gonna. So that's basically the first intro for NFTs. We're gonna come back with another episode. I know Ant's gonna ask David more questions about NFTs. Guys, stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.